gonna do some React content, guys. Little break from spamming dungeons, bro. What's a good video to react to, though? I don't want a super long video, like something like 15 minutes or less, like a giga react. Daily dose of internet? No. No hit, Jerome. The most in-demand classes in MoP Classic. Perfect. It's only 8 minutes long. Watch this. Little MoP education for us that need it. Most in-demand classes. Yeah, piece is way too hot. I need to cool down a bit.
You're standing in front of Throne of Thunder and you're ready to conquer Mists of Pandaria Classic. But will you get that instant invite? Or will you be sitting there for an hour whispering, "Invite please," into the void?
This is really important, by the way. Like, a lot of players make the mistake sometimes of picking maybe something they enjoy, but like is not needed at all. And then they get a worse game experience than if they picked a different class they would have liked anyway and got actually invited to raids. So sometimes, you know, you have to think about the whole picture here. Like, do you want to pick the spec that you like so much that you can't play anything else and then not get invited and then end up quitting the game? Or do you pick a class that maybe you thought you wouldn't like, but then you end up enjoying it? People invite you to raids, you gear up, you play with friends, you find a guild, and it's a great experience. And a lot of people don't think about that. They're like, I'm a hunter. I always play hunter, hunter good. But if hunter no good and no one invites you because you play hunter, then not good time for you. So maybe this video will help some people here reconsider what they're playing. Obviously, you can always go like play what you want, but there's a bit more to it, right? Like, I was like that with Shaman. I'm like, I hate Shaman. I don't want to play Shaman. I don't want to put totems down. It's not fun. But then after playing it, I got used to the gameplay and actually enjoyed the class a lot. And I've played it in the War Within. I've played it in TBC. I've played it in Classic. I've played it in Wrath of the Lich King. I'm going to play it in Cataclysm. But I was really stubborn and close-minded before. And I didn't ever want to play the class. So until I tried it a few times that it really like grow on me, you know?
The truth is, while every class in MoP is fun, we're on patch 5.4.8. The meta is solved, and group leaders, they're going to be fighting over a handful of hero specs that bring game-breaking power to the table. Today we're breaking down the most in-demand classes for every aspect of the game, so you can spend less time waiting and more time winning. Let's get into it. Forget gear, this is about pure skill, speed, and a little bit of cheese. In challenge modes, the clock is your only enemy, and these 5 classes are the ultimate cheat codes. At number 5, everybody's gonna want a Frost Mage.
Damn.
Picture this, the tank pulls half the dungeon, and then a Frost Orb, it slices through the pack, everything's slowed, the damage meters, they explode. See, Frost Mages, they have insane crowd control, the Ring of Frost, incredible mobility, they bring Bloodlust, they're the complete package. Don't just take my word for it though, look at RXC, he's already topping the meters in Cataclysm just to get in the spirit. He knows what's coming. So what do you get when you mix a Swiss Army knife of utility with face-melting AoE damage? That's the Survival Hunter. Strength shot to dispel and rages, check. But the real reason you bring them, they're insanely high, uncapped damage on massive pulls that make or break your timer. Or what about a healer that does damage in a race against time? Yes, please. Disc Priests are the key to shaving precious seconds off boss fights. Their atonement healing is just legendary. They have life-saving cooldowns like Pain Suppression, Spirit Shell. But a real game changer, Angelic Feathers.
This is going to be Ellie Shaman and Brewmaster next.
Buff in the entire game. It's perfect for dragging your slow blood decay along from pack to pack. They're even so broken, some players like River, they're already calling for nerfs. But if you could build the perfect challenge mode DPS class from scratch, it'd be the Ellie Shaman. They just bring everything.
That's my class, guys.
Chain Lightning, check. A huge healing cooldown with Ancestral Guidance, check. Group-wide buffs, an interrupt, a range AoE stun with Capacitator Totem, Bloodlust, check. They have the ultimate toolkit, and every single group, they're gonna want one. But at that number 1 challenge mode spot, the undisputed king of the timer, the Brewmaster Monk. Their damage, it's not just good for a tank, it's absurd, thanks to how Vengeance works. But more importantly, their mobility is completely unmatched. They don't just move through dungeons, they fly through dungeons. And as David puts it, they just feel better and they just have an answer for everything. With their overpowered cooldowns, you kind of feel like a god. Jerome Butt requests comment data on whether you did challenge modes back in the day. Were you a gold medal superstar or sitting on the sidelines? So MoP Arenas, they're legendary for a reason. Fast, brutal, and so many specs feel like they play like absolute heroes. If you want to play any class, it probably has a top tier comp. But these specs, they're gonna have your partners begging you to queue. At number 5, the Arms Warrior, the ultimate hero. Massive damage, the charge, the heroic leap, reflex. They have tools for absolutely everything, and they fit into almost any comp. But if you want really easy groups, roll a Priest. DPS players, they're desperate for healers, and you're never going to have a problem finding a partner to climb the ladder with. Now Frost Mage, the other hero DPS. They have great damage with Frost Orb, great CC with Ring of Frost, the infamous Alter Time for movement, the blinks. A good mage is a true nightmare to play against. Meanwhile, Survival Hunters, MM Hunters, so annoying, they're brilliant. Hunters are just so hard to kill that many teams, they just give up trying. Huge damage, Scatter Shot, Freezing Trap, a Magic Dispel. They control the entire pace of the game. So number 1 for arenas, it's gotta be the Resto Druid. As X-Potion says, a good Restoration Druid is the single most desired healer. They're God tier in 3s, LSD, God Comp, or an absolute menace in 2s. For example, pair them with a Frost Mage. They are unbeatable. If you want to be the undisputed king of the healer bracket, this is your pick. Then we have the raids. Any raid is doable with any comp. But on patch 5.4.8, top guilds, they're not just going to want these classes, they're going to stack them. First, the main character tank, the Blood Decay. Unkillable gods, their damage, their threat is massive. Their self-healing, it's legendary. And they let your Disc Priest focus on pumping damage instead of babysitting the tank. Then the meta DPS, the Arms Warrior. It's all about one ability, the Skull Banner. The meta demands 3 of them in a 25-man raid for 100% uptime during Bloodlust. As Bongo Slam says, it's the most fun he ever had in WoW, and that's
Arms
a raid
Warrior
spot
is
you
so
can count
good.
on. Jerome Bot is not responsible.
They have like
if
3
everyone
different
rolls
banners that
Arms
do
Warrior
something and
there are
rallying
no
cry
raid
as well.
spots. Then the unstoppable healer, the Disc Priest. They're back, the perfect raid healer, doing the damage of about half a DPS while blanketing the raid in heals and shields. You're gonna want to run 2 to 3 of these in a 25-man period. Then the Instant Invite, the Survival Hunter. Top guilds are gonna stack 5 or 6 of these. Why? Because they can deliver consistent top-tier damage on every single fight. A hunter asking for an invite.
Only 5 or 6 is gonna be way more, bro.
Then the cooldown machine, the Restoration Shaman. Spirit Link Totem, Stormlash Totem, Healing Tide. A good Resto Shaman is a raid-saving, fight-carrying machine. Every single raid, 10-man, 25-man, they're gonna have at least 1, probably 2. It's a guaranteed raid spot. So which class should you main for Miss Pandaria if you want to dominate the DPS?
I'm gonna play a Paladin because I'm stupid. Haha.
Charts, push for Gladiator, or clear challenge modes with ease. I could give you a top 5 ranking, but instead I'm just gonna tell you exactly what I plan to be playing. First, I'm gonna be starting with a Frost Mage. They're the true hero class for range, and they're really gonna be doing chart-topping damage in challenge modes. They're gonna be carrying the strongest arena comps. They're highly desired in 10 and 25-man raids too. Then I'm also planning to level my Arms Warrior. They hit the hardest in arenas. They play so insanely smooth with all their mobility. They're desirable in raids. Everybody wants them in 25-mans for Skull Banner. To go with the Arms Warrior with the Frost Mage, I also want to have a Monk. You can get the free boost from Season of Discovery, so it just makes sense. And in PvP, I'm going to be playing Windwalker. They do so much damage in arenas. It's a playstyle I've immediately become addicted to. But in PvE, I'm going to be dual specking over to Brewmaster Tank. It's the most fun tank, the king of challenge modes, and I plan to master it and tank GDKPs to get rich. Then my 4th character, it's gonna be a Disc Priest, dual specking to Holy, so I can play arenas with every DPS in Azeroth. Disc Priests might not be sexy to watch compared to Arms Warriors, but they carry raids with massive damage and raid healing too. You may normally not like healing, but Disc Priests are really just damage dealers that happen to heal, so I highly recommend one as an ult if you're on the fence. And then if I've got time, I'm going to be leveling a Survival Hunter because all signs point to them topping the meters in Phase 1 raids. Everybody wants to play with the highest damage class in challenge modes in raids too. But for Hunter, I'm mostly excited to do battlegrounds and arenas because they're extremely broken and extremely fun. On my bench is going to be a Resto Druid, which I might level if I have time for arenas, and a Blood Decay. Ultimately, despite being the best tank, it's just not my favorite playstyle. So there you have it. The golden ticket classes that are going to get you instantly invited to any group in Miss Pandaria Classic.
They
But
better
remember,
get me instantly
the
invited.
most important meta is playing what you love. A master of a B tier spec is always going to outperform a rookie on an S tier 1. Now though, I want to hear from you. What class are you maining in MoP Classic and why? Drop your choice in the comments below and let's see who's representing what faction and what.
I'm maining Red Paladin and MoP Classic, guys. Officially right now, maining a Red Paladin. I can't wait, dude. It's gonna be sick, bro. Gonna pump. Yeah, also rogues. I didn't see any rogues mentioned in that video, right? It's like Paladin and Rogue didn't get mentioned at all. Where's the rogue love, dude? Yeah, Warlock also wasn't mentioned. That's crazy. Yo, that's kind of crazy. No way. No way, actually. He didn't mention Warlock.